Blue Water once again take things to the wire as we head to map 3 being Binds here in the winner stage of Group D of Challengers North America Split 3. Tenrec and Marks, we have been through the ringer today for Blue Water specifically, but by extension now for SAD Esports. Marks quadruple overtime, sending us to Bind here. Give me your picture of how you think both teams are feeling walking into this.
100% Blue Otter are probably feeling hyped AF because once again, it was a 9-3 half on that second map, Haven, upon which if they lost it, they were going to go down. While SAD Esports, they secure their spot in the playoffs. Okay, nice, dandy, everything is great. But then when the comeback starts to happen, SAD Esports, you can tell these players are starting to feel a little bit more nervous. They're not hitting all the shots that we've seen them do up until this point in overtime. And so, you know, hopefully during this little break, they had a second to cool off their heads because this is a brand new map. All of that hard work that was done in Haven to drag them to that, I believe, 12-7 score line is all gone. You got to start from scratch. You got to build this one back up here. And going up against a Blue Water that is extremely confident is going to be a tall order, especially moving in on the Bind.
Well, SAD will be starting out on the attack. That's where they elected to begin, so they won't give Blue Water that leisure of getting to just roll right into another aggressive pushback, unless, of course, Blue Water decide to aggressively push back on this defense, in which case I guess I'll be proven wrong. But we'll find that out when we go into the map itself and get a look at these compositions, which are most definitely different from the last time we saw them as well. Obviously, with Blue Water's massive changes to the roster, with SAD's massive changes to the roster, nothing in this world is sacred. Nothing in this world is complete or locked. And nobody knows who's going to end up making it to the playoffs here and who will have to play against Trust and Plug in our third and final match of the night and group stage.
Yeah, at this point, Trust and Plug is just watching, waiting to see who their opponent is going to be. Yeah, there you go. Just because it's like, once again, one of these teams are going to be coming off of a pretty heartbreaking loss. No matter which way you slice it at this point, you know, they're both going for gold right now. And one of them will be able to make it in. One of them has to play another series, stretching this out even longer for them. While on the other hand, you know, Trust and Plug, they get a little bit of a chance to relax a little bit, cool off, take a breather, get that mental nice and easy before they head into that final map. And, well, of course, we're going to be going into our final map here. Like you said, Blue Water starting us out on the defense. Well, SAD is going to be on the attack. And pretty stock standard compositions coming in from both these sides. The one difference here is that Zeke is going to be on that Gecko,
as opposed to that Viper coming out from Darkest. Excuse me, no, the Cypher from Nabil. Pardon.
Yeah.
Shondex is on the Viper, which will be the third agent we see Shondex on today.
Destroyed.
A little bit of variety, and look at this. Just with that Trailblazer pushing up so far, but really, the show is happening on this A site.
And Nabil was able to get that opening kill on B lane, and on the while, SAD will just walk up to short. Already implanted in lamps, just waiting for the rest of the team to securely make their way. Potentially to crunch so that minimal util can get maximized output. And lucky for them, Blue Water's on the way to this fight. Bob's gonna fight it early, trade paint shells. Ferbs is in a worse position to handle one though, so he'll get back out of there. Now comes Shondex's roam, and it'll be good for one. Darkest shuts it down with the right click, but Zeke still unchecked. Now Benji checked, waiting for the trigger discipline, and Darkest with the immediate punish. Well tapped. And that should be all she wrote here for Blue. Okay, never mind. Bob is going crazy, and Snakebite's definitely not going to hit her. Nabil can't clutch up against Zostal, and it's now a 1v2 like that.
30 seconds left.
Previously, Bind has always been a map that SAD Esports hasn't necessarily been the best on. We're starting to see some of those cracks right off the bat. Obviously, Bob shooting really well. Makes it just a little bit easier. Darkest all the way down to 70 HP. Zostal, meanwhile, also has a shield. So Bob and Zostal, the two players that got taken off of SAD, right now have the chance to clutch up this pistol.
Darkest is just taking the chance that nobody's coming through hookah, and for that matter, they are right. Hearing the first defuse from Bob, no snake bite, not even one that they can threaten. But first check is no good. And I think they avoided getting checked by Blue. Hop in a garden. Nowhere else they could be, but for some reason, Zostal's not looking! Another tap! Another kill for Darkest! 4 for the Viper. And Sad somehow still come out with the opening round of the game.
Yeah, and it's that was interesting. I mean, Bob just kind of popped off at that point, and she was able to find so many kills onto the Sad Esports squad where it was looking so easy, and causes Darkest to have to run all the way over to that B site, make it possible. But just extremely intelligent play from Darkest. Puts that spike down, rotates all the way over to Hookah, and then plays in such a weird position. You could tell Blue Water had no idea where that Viper could be hiding. So they get that first pistol round. Not completely unscathed, but that's okay. They buy up here. The Cypher Wire gets destroyed just with those early paint shells. And Blue Water, they decided to go for an A-site stack. So Sad Esports will have an easier time if they do decide to move into B. But Shondex is in there. And Shondex has been shooting extremely well this match.
I got the Sheriff in hand here, ready. Just get this first kill and then pop up the screen. But now Bill peeks, now Bill fire. Shondex still gets the kill. Screen still goes up. It's stunted. It takes a moment, but it still works out for Blue Water. Now the stack can move with impunity. But so could Sad. They could TP into this, or they could extend out onto the site itself. They will do the latter. Mollying the Cubby and getting the spike on default. While Blue Water attempts to just placate any extension beyond that. As Zostal makes the long road up to Hookah. Dip may be keen to it, but it'll just be the checkpoint. Ferbsa is the main attraction and is able to deal with the majority on site. Shondex already red inside that smoke, cut down to half. Not hard to finish them off either. And Zostal will walk alone into an occupied B site, giving Sad the second round.
Yeah, and an excellent way to have that round as well. Look at that. 4 weapons carried over here, so a bonus definitely on the tables. Okay, yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing an operator this early on. I saw that on the thing, and I'm like, Nabil, come on. You're not going to be buying an operator yet. But this is going to be an interesting look from Blue Water. They weren't able to get that much money on that last round, so we see a little bit of a scattered buy. Welly going for the Outlaw this time around. Also, too, this is the first time we've seen Welly not play Sova and play that Sky instead. Just because Sova not really that effective on this particular map. And actually going away from that comfort pick of Sova. Now let's see how this goes already. Sad Esports going fast.
Welly on high, Shondex close by. Good for the opening 2 here. Okay. Sad can reopen. Bobsta will clear the rest though. From the default corner on Garden. Make quick work of this Sad attack this time around.
It was a good idea by Sad. The way that they flooded in, it worked out pretty well. But unfortunately, they fell victim to the classic jump through the smoke out of Hookah just one by one by one. Without any flashes or anyone clearing in. Usually you have to coordinate that with a push up of long to make sure that no one is in that angle. Where Bob can just kind of take pot shots without really moving. Just kind of stayed crouched the entire time. So Blue Water find their first round. Sad Esports buying fully up this time around. Looking to take this one back. Bob getting really close to having that showstopper. 1 ultimate orb away.
Should love to use that to just flip this round on its head. You know Sad are going to come in swinging for the fences yet again. That's why Shondex is playing so up close with this snake bite at first, just to deter on that first step of what will be many.
Scout destroyed.
Whew. Trailblazer gets utilized there, but immediately shot down, so no information is going to be given over to Sad Esports. While a very aggressive hold onto Hookah, Sad are going to walk right into this.
Big jump in from Ferbsa, but Shondex has the secondary angle. This Hookah hold is just too strong, and the cage will do everything except help Sad. Nabil dropping a smoke right in front of the entire team just to try to cause some confusion when they realized that there was a stack on the Hookah. But in fact, it just makes Sad so much worse on the execute.
Yeah, and honestly, too, that cage really worked out for Blue Water in more ways than that. The flashes that went through, by the time Dizzy went through it, well, boom, can't do anything about that, can't react fast enough. A guiding light gets tossed in as well in all of the chaos. Really just turns it into a mini arena in Hookah, on which, well, Blue Water, they're able to win that one out. And now the Viper's Pit so early on, Shondex deploys that. Sad on the back foot. Bit of an eco buy coming in. Marshall in hand of Darkest. But Welly just finds a wallbang headshot to start off the round. Nabil down. That leaves Sad with no other option but go away.
Looking really uncomfortable right now on this Cypher, lurking for binds. But it's early on. And Blue Water have clearly not expended the playbook here.
One enemy remaining.
Bobsta's feeling good on this swing. So is the rest of Blue Water. We're just gonna, again, just storm what's left of Sad before they can even get in. Great reactionary play so far from Blue Water. Sad, unfortunately, have kind of fell on their own asses here a little bit.
Yeah.
These opening rounds.
Here.
But like you said, that mentality will protrude into map 3. And it's safe to say Sad are decently boomed already. Who knows how far they could get before the defensive half is done.
If you're Sad, gotta start focusing up. Gotta resist that tilt there. Bob going in so deep. Not able to find anything. Shoots down Trapwire. Showstopper gets expended. Well, that's plenty of information right now. We know that Sad are looking at this B site, and already members of Blue Water are adjusting themselves accordingly to make sure that they're not just prey to some of the classic attack that you would expect on Bind.
I've got your trail.
Can't fumble from there. The Darkest first swing. And for that matter, Shondex's hold. All good. Orbital strike to do nothing but distract. Bob on the TP watch can't finish, but Blue Otter have Sad so unfathomably red. And still a dog free to make sure Nobble can extend. Plant at the back of Truck just so Sad can try and control both sides of site. They'll need to because Bob is coming from the other. On the short swing, Dip needs to lock in here, and he will. Now 3v4, very much doable for Sad Esports to try to get themselves back in this game mentally and round-wise. But the Dizzy will field away the short swing early, and now you can just hold this spike while the rest of the team comes scurrying on back. It's Nabil who has to swing for the 2, but is so damn low. Can't do a thing about the remainder of Blue Water, who will take their 4th round of the defensive half.
Don't even start.
Every single time I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Here we go. We know how this one ends. Then a crazy multi-kill comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh boy. Right back into things. And once again, Nabil, we've seen them do stuff like that before, but not with a degree of consistency where it's worth writing home about. Nabil was classically really good at the flanks, but on a map like Bind, those flanks become a lot harder. You have to really just take over an entire site from these defenders, and the defenders are doing an excellent job at just standing their ground on both sides. All right, this time around, Blue Water might get a little bit more exploratory outside of B long. Running it down this time, looking for a challenge, will not be met with that, but Nabil just looking the wrong way, immediately shut down.
Another moment that he'll just be tossed away by Blue Otter here, and Sad forced to immediately change course. Burbsa up decently large with this Bucky in hand, and Shondex caught! Burbs is going to try and grab a rifle off of that, and there isn't enough contesting to stop that from happening. Welly going to hop right into this Viper's Pit and spots Darkest. Darkest on the runway, tip the trade back, and it's perfectly choked this time for Blue Water. Burbs to the showstopper just to seal the deal, and it's needed because these last 2 players have plenty in the tank, including another smoke that Dip is forcing to get danced around. Bob, the decoy, still gets the opening kill now. Invading Lamps, the only one remaining to try and save this round. Benji, good stalling. That's going to be all the time she's got. And Sad Esports will get back on the board in the eco.
And honestly, good use. Just immediately pop in the Viper's Pit, and you can tell the Blue Water, as soon as it goes up, are like, oh no, what do we have for this? Of course, Sue Furbs are finally turning it up a little bit. Also able to get the showstopper, finding a key kill to make it that much easier for the squad, but you can't be reliant on 2 huge ultimates to get yourself these rounds. Blue Water still very much in this. Zostel has the orbital strike online, and that's one that I love seeing come out. Of course, Zeke 1 away from having Thrash online as well. Still quite a bit of stuff for Blue Water to work off of, as Furbs is already going in deep.
Immediate orbital strike to try to counteract it, but Furbs is able to get out of dodge, and luckily that's not where the push was headed. It was just where that noise was being made. Now they can either TP Snake or just go for the full-on B Hookah's push. Oh, Zeke TP'd! Massive space gain here. The garden swing is only one strong. The backside swing only one strong. But they're both agents that can deal a good amount of stall. And with this snake bite, it's so tough to drop down. They will do so anyway. Ferbsa, Voln, caught, dead. Cybercage to get the rest of Sad inside, and Welly is dealt with, but Shondex still is not. Spike down. Shondex still not dealt with. Still not dealt with. Now they will be, but it's enough time for Navel to get thrashed by Zeke, who is back in the fight and ready for this 1v1 against Dip, who is behind this pedestal, getting back on top with the fake plant, tries to get above and is just watching this, waiting for Zeke. First bird to confirm he's still in this position. He is, and that'll necessitate another tap. Now the full commit, just as Zeke walks up, is the timing going, and no, Dip is! His timing's better! I swear to God he was planning, and then he was dead.
That play was choking me up right there. I thought for sure Dip was going for the plant on that point. Already got it more than halfway down. Just decides to peek just for a second. Catches perfect timing to get that headshot. Sad Esports right back into this. And they're still all tied up across the board. A couple of ultimates get utilized there. Viper's Pit as well as the Orbital Strike have been expended on both sides. Right now, Benji getting close to an Orbital Strike as well. A good little alley-oop from Sad Esports. Go on one side, fake a lot of pressure, and then immediately back out, pull out that Orbital Strike and immediately disengage. It's such a good way to like use up all of the stuff that Blue Otter had to work with.
Completely equalized. And only one ult available here. A Neural Theft that's waiting in Garden for an opening frag to confirm which site do we decide to commit to here. Full TP stack from Blue Otter into B site, and that's all the go signal they need. Dip will distract and even get one. As Sad Esports waltz right onto a site that Bob is waiting on, decides to spray instead of tap, and so she's got one, but that's all. Now the Neural Theft to detect Welly just as he steps into frame and will be smoked out post-haste. Shondex on this flank as well. Very much known about. Orbital Strike to force away Welly. Now he's on top of the window and can get sprayed through enough. So they'll overtake Heaven and no doubt the round from then on. So Stoll making themselves known, not killed yet. Now I'm gonna back up just a tad, but again, no way that Blue Otter can make all this space and get all three of these kills in such little time when their positions are already confirmed. Shondex walks right into Benji though. At least deals with him. So Stoll finished. But Shondex absolutely no time at this stage. Stuck in lamps, will probably just TP out if you can get away with it. He will after getting this kill onto Nabil. Yes indeed. So walking away with only one player, but their 5th round and the lead here now is Sad, proving that maybe picking the attack half wasn't such a bad thing after all.
It's looking pretty good right now for Sad Esports. At first, this felt one-sided. Blue Waters kind of had them completely clocked, but as time has gone on, this has looked very scrappy from Sad Esports. They're not afraid to try out new, different ideas, are not trying to play conservatively or anything. We see the Orbital Strike come out so early on because they know they need to secure these rounds. And it's when they start playing like this, that's when Blue Water are going to be tested to the max. We've seen them play a little bit more slow, a bit more indecisive, and I think that is making the difference in these rounds.
Bomb buddy out. I've got your trail.
Interesting place to use your Seekers here if you're Dip. Just to try and distract Zeke for a moment. But it forces a roam from Bob that'll get caught. Still, though, the fight's not won for Sad here.
Not even close. As a matter of fact, they decide to back out of this one. But I want everyone to pay attention to the positioning of Zostal as well as Shondex. We've seen what Bob has done from a little bit of an off angle if they all fled out on Hookah. And right now, that seems like it might be the play. Given the fact Ferbsa doesn't have any satchels either, means that they just have to slowly trickle out. The smokes will come down though.
Shondex past the orb. Camera shot down early on. Tucked out by the molly, so not an optimized angle, but now, like you said, Zoe's come back in to help out.
30 seconds left.
Now Ferbsa walking onto A site, hears and sees Welly, but gets past it just to check more before trying to get the kill. That could have facilitated an A push, but no kills. No kills on either side, and Zoe's still perfectly positioned to catch all of it. No time left here for Rip Benji. You might as well save here, dude.
Looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening.
Here.
Benji just going to be backing up. Keep that rifle into the next round. Completely thwarted by Blue yet again. It's just those like off angles because they all commit to moving into hookah, but they don't have enough initiation utility. And that's one of the things, you know, not really bringing that extra initiator into your mix means that you have to just rely on Dip to make sure that those flashes are going accordingly, and those birds do not regenerate. Once the guiding lights are expended, they are gone. That's why you see that single smoke is getting so much value from Blue Otter. It's still 5-5 though, 2 more rounds in this half. And wow, both of these teams right now, they really want this win.
Really hungry for it. Right here. Sad trying to once again load that aggression with this save round. And with the Toxic Orb, they'll just do this default tape plant, easily stopped by Shondex just existing here. I'm throwing down one lone snake bite, but Nabil has gotten outside of lamps, and now will get traded out by Ferbsa, who will get one of his own. And Zostal cannot connect before the regrowth will inevitably get all of the members of SAD back in fighting condition. Very well taken. And now can they finish it up? Can they hold off the rest of the fight? With Bob, Showstopper in hand, can get rid of 2 close range. And now it's just a short hold, but a paint shell will deny that temporarily as well. Benji caught, but not dealt with. And a molly on Spike as it's half procced.
Oh no.
Healing over here.
Now the orb as well. And the bite too. Smoke fades away. Benji sprays on Spike. Sad in a 2v1. Can't finish, but Welly can't stick. Welly one more. But Darkest has no reason to peek it.
Oh my goodness. Out of all of the agents that could have been left, of course it's the Viper. Oh man, that's so tough. The molly comes out, the stink bite comes out. It's so frustrating for SAD Esports to try and, what do you call it? Or sorry, for Blue Otter to get that defuse onto the Spike. SAD Esports have all the stall that they need.
This goes here.
It's so tough, and now one more round left in this half. SAD Esports want to take the 7-5. Now that number's curse free, so that must be in a good sign. Blue Otter though, gonna buy up as much as they can. Zeke gonna be the only one. Unfortunately, won't have a rifle here, but it's a very fast engagement.
Oh my goodness! Walking into the mosh, Ferbsa dies incredibly early on an A push that is already committed to here by Darkest. So SAD just kind of have to pile it and work with it, and that is absolutely not going to happen.
Exactly where.
Nabil will be able to get a neural theft to confirm the remainder of Blue Otter is now here on the A site, but I don't think that really means you can do anything other than just rotate and hope there's less people on site when you get there. So many people just waiting, watching for Nabil, though, as this rotation occurs, because they're fine with a 4v1 if Nabil dies here. And if they're not, then there's no way that Nabil can get to B site before anybody on Blue Otter can. So Spike will go down, and Blue Otter see no reason to continue this fight, save for just leaving Bobsta available on the TP swing, so that Nabil is kept here. So it's Darkest in a 1v3, and the Dizzy will still get them. Orb into bite means there's only one way to swing, and that's all that you need if you're Blue Otter. They get in just fine, and Nabil here just in time to die. Tie game. Entering halftime here. No team with a concrete answer. Just comes down to winning those fights at the end of the day.
It's such a dangerous gamble. You know, Nabil and Darkest says, okay, I held down the site last time. I think I can do it again, except this time Blue Water are legging it over to the B site. Nabil, famously good on those flanks, not even given that opportunity. Takes way too long. Viper Spit in front, shut down. 6-6 in this half. Blue Water now on the offense. Sad Esports will be defending. They do have a little bit more defensive utility. Keep in mind, Nabil is still playing that Cypher. Let's see how this one is going to be shaken out here, but honestly, it could go either way. Blue Water, as well with the double initiator, could be a lot easier to be able to break open these sites.
And on the other side of that, Zeke makes the spike planting and post planting playbook a mile wide for Blue Otter. So both teams arguably on their optimal half here. Of course, Sad's choice of attack to start this game would say otherwise, but only one way to find out. Nabil peeking into a world of hurt that's waiting for him, and Blue Otter do not get the bait. Oh, but Darkest does. Well, he'll waltz right in. And now it's got to work as the stack from Blue enters Lamps. Right clicks from Nabil do not connect enough. And Burbs not swinging properly. Bob extending, but still dying. And Dip right behind with the trade back. So it's a 2v2 at the end of the day with the smoke still persisting. But oh my goodness, Sostal has just left with Spike and caused some uncertainty as to where this plant's headed and where Shondex could be. But they'll follow the TP. Hop right in. Sostal gonna barely get out of here. No, Darkest still catches him. They might just fully defuse this before Shondex even gets back. But Shondex will get back as there's halfway. All Benji has to do is stall the fight. He'll do more than that. Sad'll get the pistol again.
I mean, that definitely was a panic move at that point.
Reload your mag,
you know,
let's get back out.
You see immediately, just, I'm under fire. Got to take the TP. Takes the TP to the other side, runs for the plant. Shondex doesn't even have an opportunity to go. So as a result, it just makes it so much more difficult to even get there in time. And unluckily for Blue Otter, there's no way for them to secure that spike down. And that pistol round would have been a nice buffer to go forwards, because most teams tend to play a little bit better on the defense, in my opinion, on this map. And so being able to just kind of get that away from the defenders would have been a nice boon. But instead, we got to go in, securing the ultimate orb at least. Dizzy thankfully can just get picked back up and recast in a couple of seconds, but Darkest is just watching like a hawk.
Not anymore with these smokes in tow. And Blue will get the easy plant off.
Spike planted.
Man still getting spiked down, and Shondex evading the cage to get inside and crack Nabil open. Darkest will re-shut that down though, and it's once again silencing a moment of revolution. Bob will get another one going though, trying to grab at least a slightly better gun, and will technically do so, but not for long. Sad can swarm it, and with Zostal mollied away, it is as easy as 1, 2, 3 members of Sad remaining to get them to 8-6.
Yeah, that's a little bit better for Sad. They keep most of the weapons intact. Most importantly, Dip has a Phantom in this one. Of course, that Guardian also going to be just as good. So let's see how this next one is going to go with this bonus. Nabil and Darkness decide to buy up. Meanwhile, on Blue Water side, this is where they start to get things going. Earlier in some of these rounds where you don't have as good weaponry, we see Sad Esports really start to take off. But as soon as it flips over to the rifling rounds, I do think that Blue Water always look a little bit better once they get their finger on the pulse. Let's hope that they can change the script if they want to be able to prevent Sad from starting to run away and cause this massive lead. Sad going aggressive right off the bat.
I'll stack even harder on this conditioning wall from B. So Stolt, too scared to engage, knows that there's a good chance there's at least one here. But that also hands Ferbs all that space upside to spawn, and Zoe checks that and regrets what he sees. That being said, that will confirm that the stack was what extended from B lane, so A site seems pretty clear from here. Shondex confirming that by getting lamps, Bob confirming that by getting showers.
Excellent plant, but it is still 5v5. Weapon advantage still with Blue Water.
And And they'll try to use it early. Snakebite to field away. Shondex is really stuck here, but it matters not. Ow, the extension, Shondex. Tough spray, but like you said, that gun diff is massive here. And nobody from SAD able to play nearly as diversely as Blue Water is that round. Easy bonus taken by them.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, those were some nifty moves that we got to see from Shondex. Shondex, one of the players who I think was crumbling under the pressure just a little bit more. Some of those situations where we saw Shondex up against a couple of people usually would be good for those headshots, nice and easy. But lately has been just whiffing them a little bit more. That time around though, sidesteps some of the mollies, goes into the next area, takes a little bit of damage, but as a result, they're not expecting it at all. Blue Water get completely... Sorry, not Blue Water, but SAD Esports get completely caught by surprise. Now this is going to be a fast hit, or at least the illusion of a fast hit. The spike's still left in spawn. Ferbsa exploring showers right now, just to destroy some of that Cypher utility and ask a couple more questions to SAD Esports.
Keep them guessing, but Bob is playing with fire here. She'll get burned by Nabil. Now SAD. Gonna make that rotation, that switch up of controllers to keep the cycle intense. And make sure that Blue can't press on top of that kill to try and get an easy revenge. But they won't. Blue Water will instead also disperse a little bit. Try to play the short angle first, potentially go for a TP crunch for either site here, depending on who is where. Thrash goes into an empty A site and definitely can't be grabbed again. A massive ultimate gone here unless Blue Water decide to actually press A site. And with Shondex gone, Nabil ulting, it looks like they can't, but Zeke will frag back and he'll try to get to this site. Thrash still can't be grabbed, but at this point, you'll take what you can get when you can get it. Blue Water entirely on A site now. And SAD Esports also here, and Spike stopped from planting with the paint shells. Now the Molly also helped to keep him away, and Zeke forced to fight before he can plant, and that's all that SAD need to take over. But Welly, 2 kills from the short,
10 seconds left.
and now Spike back in hand as the smokes fade away. Only one chance to plant this, and Benji no longer has the Molly, but Welly was waiting for it. Down to 2 shots. Welly, you just choked the Spike! You just choked the round!
Oh no! The mind games were too immense. Of course, it's a little bit easier for us to call because we have all those outlines.
He was so scared. He was just going to poke out onto that. He didn't realize how far back he was. He was going to play for the post plant.
Yep.
That is such 100%. A tough mind
100%.
game, dude. Oh my god.
And once again, when we talk about the pressure, the lengths that this game has been kind of going on, Welly as well, falling maybe a little bit victim to that because it should have been such an easy one to at least get that 1v1 isolated after so many heroics coming in from both of these sides. Already, though, it is going to be Blue Water making that B-side push. Getting close. Trailblazer already down.
And already, they'll get inside. Darkest early Viper's Pit. They'll try to spray at the source. Bob will instead find Dip. And Blue will enter via hookah. While this pit still sits, Darkest. What a smoke to keep them hidden for at least a little bit longer, but it's, again, only one they'll get.
Smoke's down.
They're so scared to pick up the spike right now. They have no idea where the other people are. Ferbsa finding that kill was absolutely massive. As Benji just around the corner, SAD back into the driver's seat. 2v3 down to a 1v3. 1v2.
Oh my god.
Mission impossible.
I have a fun idea. Okay. So we'll reset the 1v2. But Zoe has 0 util. So, yeah, you have to plant back of truck.
Left.
Where are you going from here?
Oh, this is...
Oh, yeah, he's got to clear.
Yeah, you got to clear everything. And on top of that, too,
He only
Ferbsa
knows
can
Ferbsa was there.
grab a rifle.
Oh, man. This is so tough. SAD Esports. Come out swinging that round and really keep themselves unpredictable. Now Zoe knows exactly what's happening, and it might be too much!
Some things you just can't.
SAD! Cryo Spike, forget there's a player on the site, and Zoe still collects for Blue Water, who are once again handed a lifeline back into this game.
You get rid of me? Zostal says as they pop around the corner, spraying down the last two remaining members. Sticking it to their old team, Sad Esports. Now with the Blue Otters clutching up that round. The reset was so smart, able to slip away, and then excellent positioning there. We both had questions, but just played it so intelligently. Now Sad Esports, they're on this eco. Ferbsa does have the showstopper, but Bob going to be taking first advancement up, Dip just on the other side. But actually, this is the Blue Waters slowing down yet again, trying to bait out aggression from Sad Esports and punish them to make their lives a lot easier.
They almost did. Actually, they will with Ferbsa. He'll bite. Trying to get a good angle, but Bob finds a better one. And will now use that to try to curb stop Hookah again. Paint shells first, and now the manual swing again, but Sad could have crossed over, so there's a little more uncertainty in the Hookah push. A might look a lot more appetizing now.
And yet still they hold. This is the Blue Otter special. Just play as slow as possible until that 30-second mark, and then make a call based on where you got that first pick. Of course, it wasn't the teleporter, so not too much gained. But this is going to be tough if they decide to go Hookah.
I've got your trail.
Still knowing Dip was here. Not knowing about Nabil. Oh, the crack open on Dip's Seekers is perfect. And Blue Otter now know exactly where they're going. The site that Dip is not. We'll head in. Get the plant down. Molly will stop this. And Darkest is actually inside. He's still holding the showers on this. And Benji is also on the inside of his own smoke, too. A Dizzy has to breach through both of those to try to field him out. And now the Seekers will search from Dip's side. Darkest once again collects, and Sad are the ones who are able to slow it all down. Dip, 20 HP, still good to find Shondex. And nothing coming up here for Blue Otter other than the fact that they've gotten this spike down. And to be fair, Zostal is in a great position to stall.
One enemy.
But Welly is not, and he's already used all the util. Zo, found by Darkest, who's been hiding here the whole dang time. And Sad Esports re-silenced the game very quickly.
What are with these thrifty rounds, man? What are with these thrifty rounds? The classics are so damn accurate this matchup. It's unbelievable. Oh boy, Sad Esports now at 10. Somehow thwarting Blue Otter. Once again, continuing the trend that every single time Blue Otter decide to play slow, they get a little bit too into their heads, and then somehow Sad Esports, their defenders are able to just kind of pop out and find a couple of kills through some smokes, through some confusion, and it works out perfectly for them. Timeout now being called by Blue Otter. They can't continue to let this slip away. I already talked about how whichever one of these teams is going to be a little bit more frustrated, a little bit more tired going to that final map. The fact that this is this close is making that even more apparent. It is very possible we will be going to an OT with how these two teams have been going. And for one of them to lose it and then have to play another series on top of that. Oh man, the mental burden alone is so much, but you can't crumble under that pressure. And I hope that Blue Otter, while taking the time to talk about some strategy, are also making sure they keep that in check, because if they don't, that could creep up on them, and the next thing you know, those shots are not finding their mark and the strategies are all out the window.
The funny thing is, in a lot of these lobbies in this tournament, you could go into a timeout and tell the players, like, it's just a ranked game, okay? You were just playing a ranked game. And honestly, you would feel kind of immersed, because it feels a little ranked sometimes. But the reality is, right now they are not playing for RR. They're playing for $1,000 freaking dollars. And that pressure is going to persist, no matter what, for some of these players at the very least.
They found my wire.
Bobsta cutting the cord, and it'll work out for the insert. Shondex on the window ahead of the screen. And Blue Water have opened this up wide. Dip is completely crunched, and Blue Water overwhelmed. But Spike once again isolated thanks to the orbital strike on the wingman, and so Blue Water are stuck in Garden entirely with no Spike. Ferbsa decided to use ultimate as well just to continue keeping them away, and now the smoke on Cycle. There's a minute to go here though, so Blue Water could circle back and try another attack on both sides of B site. Still though, such a tough position for the Spike to be dropped in, and so Shondex feels the need to use this Viper's Pit to at least get back onto the site and gain that space back. But you can't just yet, there's a Molly in your way. Gotta wait for that to expire. It will. And now, who extends beyond Shondex? You have the whole dang team to help you out. Toxic Orb thrown on top to make it its own little Viper's Pit. Ferbsa
30 seconds left.
going to circle it like sharks preying on this spike that still has yet to be picked up. And with the orb expiring, it is still there, deserted, stranded. Zoe hops in, not good for it. Spike is at least in the pit, and they'll use that to run away, but
barely time.
Ferbsa and Benji can spray away.
10 seconds.
Benji will at least get the kill onto Bob as well. And yeah, with 0 time on the clock, Zeke will at least get the
No
spike down, but it's a
way.
1v3 that SAT has given themselves. A stunning
Stinger?
recovery. Yeah, you have to fight this close, and Benji knows it. That's why he's staying away with this.
Ooh.
Oh, they know the angles that Zeke has to hold, so they're just going to keep him to it while they go to Spike. No util. No way to fight this more than 15 meters away. Benji.
Okay.
Oh, no! There's one, but Ferbs is just going to hold it. There's no way to get inside this now. Okay. So SAT is 2 rounds out now. And another great attempt at an eco here from Blue Otter. Another amazing opening that unfortunately just gets shut down again.
The fact, too, that it's the orbital strike that is what basically zones out Blue Water completely. I mean,
Nobody could even come back to grab that spike after Wingman was down. It was
exactly.
perfect.
Like, they used up all their utility getting into the site. They went super explosive, made sure that they had it. Orbital strike comes out, and then they've got nothing to get back in. And so a Viper's Pit has to get expended. A Viper's Pit has to get expended just to pick up the spike. That's not how you want these rounds to go if you are Blue Water. You lose a huge ultimate, and ultimately the round as well. That's so painful to kind of think through, but Blue Water have to pull themselves back into this one already, Bob. Spotting out Dip. And so Dip smartly backs up to make sure that this space is respected. See the rotation starting to come around now, as it is going to be this 4-1 push onto this B site.
Yamag gonna re-engage this lane early and has the spot on a Nabil. Oh, just in time, Darkest. That screen's perfect, dude. For the Thrash to come in and find absolutely nothing. Dip hiding the whole time, but doesn't win that first fight and now has to make a tough choice. That was absolutely chaotic and not at all optimal. Spike planted here for Blue Otter. 2v4 on the post. Ferbsa here just in the moment for Welly to get all the way back to the sand. Darkest now 1v4, 1v3. Zeke early peak. And Blue Water once again provide a cushion for themselves.
The fact that no kills were found, despite the fact that the Thrash had just completely gone by, you're hiding inside the Viper wall, everything is hidden away. And no kills except for one when you just throw your body in onto the site. That has got to be a hard pill to swallow if you are a Dip. But still, we continue on. And I feel like that's how these rounds have been going. So many of these epic moments, so many of these weird off chances, so many weird shots being found so early on. And yet there always is a next round. Ferbsa finding Bob right off the bat. The operator is in play, and now Blue Water is aware of it.
How do they react? I guess it's better to say, how do they act? How do they initiate again? They'll have to start with all of this util from Welly, who will admittedly sniff out all of this Cypher util.
Spike planted.
And Sadar kept out, but Nabil sprays through twice.
What?
That's ridiculous. And this was one of the last please eco-wise. Blue have
Enemy
this
remaining.
half. This could be the dagger.
Oh.
And they keep all 5 standing this time around, which is crucial because their eco wasn't exactly chipper.
No.
Flawless.
No, it really wasn't. And honestly, the fact that we were seeing the operator come in from Ferbsa, I thought that was a little bit of a gamble. Sure, it could go up big. We've seen Ferbsa do unbelievable stuff with the sniper rifle in hand, but has been pretty quiet this game. And you decide, yeah, let's give our bottom fragger the operator. Little bit of a gamble, and it works out perfectly for SAD Esports. Turns out they just needed Ferbsa to come online just a little bit more. And now we are at match point. Sad, ready to send Blue Otter down to the bottom bracket to fight up against their previous foes again.
Satchel out.
And of course, takes this first round to make that happen.
Burps are way ahead of this. But Nabil is inserted even farther. Blue, though, they'll get on top of both! And a great collapse. With an orbital strike on Lamps, they'll try to fully commit to the push.
3v3.
But Darkest shuts it down, and Spike is yet again stranded. Short, though, has been taken up, and Welly quickly executing all the way into Lamps. The dog will scope out this sky, though, and Darkest has no need to peek any further. He will anyway, and try to catch this early. Won't do it. Zoe still has Spike back, has the smoke back, and Blue Water has a minute to play with here.
And Zoe's still just taking the Spike for a walk. Like you said, plenty of time to work off of, and at this point, all of the members of SAD Esports have gotten themselves onto the safe site. What I worry about is Sean Deck's in this weird position. But given the smoke lineup, I imagine they're still going to go for this A Spike plant. Especially too, just waiting for the Viper's orb to bloom. And there it is. So now the Spike will go down. A double flank coming in from Darkest and Dip. That could make a difference.
Tough miss for the Molly. As Sad will make the approach. Is anybody watching short immediately? Oh yeah, Welly. Quick lesson learned. Now Zostal on the next angle, and Darkest manages that too. Sean Deck's the last line of defense, and he lasts about as long. SAD Esports mechanize the final rounds of that defense and come out on top 13-9. They move on to the playoffs that will occur next week. Blue Water must face off once more with Trust and Plug for that last playoff spot.
What a match we got between these two teams. I mean, obviously, yes, congratulations to SAD Esports. They completely flipped the script. The Challengers teams, they still got something. They're making the playoffs. They're not getting usurped by these other teams that get put together. But honestly, this was such a close match every single map between Blue Otter and SAD Esports. Obviously, the fun history of SAD Esports kind of kicking out a couple of their members, or maybe the members decided to walk away. We're going to leave that to speculation. But then going in and joining Blue Otters, and now they finally match up against each other, and it's this close. Like, if there was a scriptwriter, they're doing a really good job at making it very competitive. But once again, SAD Esports take the win, and Blue Otters have to fight in order to make it into that playoff bracket. They've still got one more series in front of them, and they really have to focus up if they want to see it through.
The story will go on. All roads will lead to Trust in Plug. Blue Otter will face off against them in our final match of the group stage. That is our time, unfortunately, for the night. We'll have a new batch of casters here for you in just a couple minutes. Till then, don't go anywhere.